Greetings everybody, it's Emily from Pages and Ink, and today I wanted to give you guys a book haul video because I have acquired quite a few books this month. And the last book haul I did, I think was when I came back from Montana back in July, so it's been a little bit. And I also haven't been to the library since like April, I think. So I decided to share with you guys what I got. So the first thing I got last week, last Thursday, I believe, and that is the second volume of the Harley Quinn comic book collection thing, or comic series. And I don't know what it is about Harley Quinn, but I just really like her, so I want to get the rest of these so I can kind of get more of her backstory. That way people aren't like, oh, you just like Harley Quinn because she's popular. I mean, yeah, but there's also something else about Harley Quinn, and I did not start liking her because of Suicide Squad. I liked Harley for quite some time, and I don't really know when it started. I knew of her for years, but like more recently, probably within the past 2 years, I've started to like her more and more, and I don't know what it is because I guess it's because I learned more about her through Tumblr because I don't read comic books, or I didn't read. This technically is a graphic novel, but anyway. So I didn't know much about her beyond the fact that I thought she was pretty cool style-wise, and I learned more about her personality and her backstory, and I was like, yeah, she's pretty cool. So anyway, that's the second one from the series. Then yesterday I went to the bookstore to get a special edition of a book that I was going to get from Target because it has a little bit of a different bonus to it, but they don't have it at the Target by my house. They actually don't have it at any Target near me at all, which is kind of disappointing. So the only way to get it was to order it, and ordering it would cost more than it was to just buy the one from Barnes & Noble, which was my second pick. So that's what I got, and it's Empire Storms, which is weirdly heavy for only being 600 pages. Like, this feels like 800, and it's not. It's like 600. Let's see, it's like 600. I looked it up the other day. It's about 700 pages. It's 693 pages, but still, it's so heavy. Like, I don't even think Air of Fire was this heavy, and it's a thicker book. But anyway, so the difference between this book and the Target book is the Target book has a poster on the inside of this, whereas this one has art on the end pages. So it has Manon and Aelin on this side, and then on the back side it has Rowan and Dorian. There's no Kale to be seen, which I'm not necessarily happy about, but I'm also not that upset about it. Kale and I have a complicated relationship. So I got that one, and I do need to take the sticker off the front because it's driving me crazy. But anyway, moving on. Last week I was going to get Empire Storms and 2 other books. I ended up just getting the 2 other books because Empire Storms was sold out online and they were not putting any more out. So I had to go to the store to buy it. But the 2 books that I ordered last week are A Torch Against the Night, which is the second book in the Ember of the Ashes series by Sabaa Tahir, and there's nothing super special about this cover beyond you can't even see it. There's an ST. There it is, the ST on the bottom. There are maps on the end pages, but I think that was the same in An Ember in the Ashes, although I think this is a different map. I think. It's been a while. It's been about a year, actually. So now I have the second one. I do like the feel of this cover because it's not shiny, but it's not... I don't know how to explain it. Like, the Empire of Storms, the Throne of Glass series covers have always had kind of this, like, soft cover that I can't figure out the words to explain it. It's not necessarily rubbery. I can't think of the words. And this one is more of a plastic, but it's like, it's not as smooth, it's a little rougher. I don't know, it's hard to explain, but I like the feel of it. Then the third book I got from Barnes & Noble, the second book I ordered, was The Dead House by Don Kurtagich. And this book caught my interest not only because the cover looked pretty interesting, it's obviously a horror story, and the summary on the back was pretty cool. It's about It's 20 years after a fire breaks out at, Elmber Ridge High School, and 3 people died and 1 person went missing, and her name is Caitlin Johnson. They found a diary in the ruins of the school written by somebody named Caitlin, who everybody thinks killed them, but they also believe that she's not a real person, and it's not entirely true, but it's also not entirely false, because Caitlin is actually the, like, alter ego of Carly Johnson. So that was interesting, but what really made me want to get this book, besides just the fact it was a horror story, and I really do enjoy those, is the awesome stuff that makes up the contents of the story. So there's like the journal pages and drawings and transcripts of interviews and video footage and all sorts of awesome things that come together to create the story. There's even a post-it. It's a purple post-it, and it says, hold on, I read it, and then, "You are a ray of sunshine at midnight." Which, you know, you can't really have a ray of sunshine at midnight. You can have moonlight, which is technically sunlight because it's reflecting off the moon. But anyway, that's why I bought that book, and I'm really excited about it. Also, guys, Time Turner. Sorry. I don't know if you guys have seen my Time Turner yet, but there you go. Okay. Now on to the books that I got from the library. So the first 2 books I have are graphic novels, because if you guys have been following me long enough, you know that I do really enjoy graphic novels, and I do own quite a few of them, and I'm not talking the Harley Quinn ones. And I point that way because that's where the first one is. The second one's over there. But I also have, I think it's like The Keepers, and I have Persepolis by Marjane Satrapi, and a couple other ones that I can't immediately think of. So I really do like graphic novels, and when I was in middle school and early high school, I read a lot of manga. So picture storytelling is something that I really do enjoy. And I've been trying to read more graphic novels, but I don't know if I would go out and buy some without reading some first. So the best place for me to do it is the library. So I got these 2. So there's Penny Dora and the Wishing Box, which is kind of a play on Pandora, where she gets this box for Christmas, and it's a wishing box. So you open it, and it asks what you wish for, what do you wish for, and you can wish for it. And there's pretty much no limit on the wishes. But obviously it can get out of control. She lets her best friend Elizabeth borrow it, and she starts wishing that she's a princess, and that she has a castle, and she wants to wish her brother to be a sister, and you know, it just kind of gets out of control to the point where at one point she tells one of her dragons that she wished for to attack, and it breaks out of the castle and starts to terrorize the town. So it's kind of a be careful what you wish for thing mixed with Pandora's box, because it causes chaos. And the second book I got was Nothing Can Possibly Go Wrong, which is the story of 2 friends, Nate and Charlie. And Nate is the captain of the robotics team, and Charlie is the captain of the basketball team. And Nate, at the beginning of the story, gets in a fight with Charlie's ex-girlfriend Holly, who is the head cheerleader, over funding from the school. Nate wants it so his robotics team can go to the robotics competition, and Holly wants it for new uniforms for her cheerleaders. So what she does, because the school grants the funds to the student council to do with what they will, like they make that decision, Nate decides to run for president of the student body, and Holly signs Charlie up for it, but Charlie doesn't want to run against one of his best friends. So it's this big mess, and in the end they end up teaming up and partaking in a robot fight kind of thing. Hoping to get grand prize. I'm not going to tell you what happens at the end of it, but they're trying to win the money so they can both get uniforms and go to the competition, because the school decides to pull the funding on both projects because of the mess that they cause. Which is actually a really funny, it makes a really funny graphic novel, and it's really good. The art isn't even it's not that bad. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Scott Pilgrim, a little bit. But anyway, moving on. So I also got Linger and Sinner because I have not finished The Wolves of Mercy Falls by Maggie Stiefvater. I do own Shiver, and I have read and reread Shiver multiple times, but I have not finished the series. So I figured while I was at the library, I might as well grab the last 2 books and finally finish it. So that's what I'm doing now, even though the other books I've got are a little tempting. I have Nightmares by Suzanne Young and Tom DeLonge. This is Poet Anderson of Nightmares. But it's basically about dreams. It's Jonas Anderson and his brother Alan are lucid dreamers, but after a car accident lands Alan in a coma, Jonas sets out into the dream world and attempts to find his brother and wake him up. And then he finds, a bunch of monsters and nightmares, and there's a creature called Rem. So it's kind of cool. Pick that up. Then I also have Starflight, which is a sci-fi about a fugitive who's on the run and gets a ride with, like, a rich person, I believe. Yeah, the rich pretty boy quarterback. Who's pretty much like her mortal enemy in school, but she ends up talking him into giving her a ride, I believe. Then there's The Prey, which I heard about a while ago, which is by Tom Isbell, and it's basically kind of dystopian. The government has kind of been raising kids to be hunted as part of entertainment, so it's kind of like the Hunger Games, but instead of in the Hunger Games where they're forced to fight each other in this arena, in The Prey, I don't think there's an arena. I think they're just released into the wild and people chase them and try to hunt them down. And for some reason that's really interesting to me, so I picked up The Prey. And the last book I have is First Life by Jenna Showalter, which I had read, this one and Starflight, I had read the first parts of on Barnes & Noble as like a preview, and they were good, but I'm very picky with the books that I buy because I've bought books that I either don't end up reading or don't end up enjoying, and I feel like it's a waste of my money, so I'm very careful with what I buy. So I didn't buy either of them, but I found them at the library and decided that I would give them a shot first, and then I could read them, or buy them. Obviously, I'd have to read them. Anyway, so those are the books that I both bought from Barnes & Noble and got from the library. I know this is kind of rambly a little bit, and also just kind of me talking the entire time, but hopefully I will have book talks. I'm going to try to do book talks for the books that I got from the library, because before I wasn't going to do any book talks for them because I wouldn't have them for videos in the future, but it just got to the point where it wasn't, I would go for a while without doing videos because I wouldn't have any tags and I wouldn't have any book talks. So it just kind of got to the point where I decided that now I'm going to do it because, I still read these books, I still want to share my thoughts, and I think I had even wanted to connect a book that I had read to something else and I couldn't because there's no book talk for it. So yeah, sorry this video is on the longer side and mostly me talking about books, but I love you guys. It always means so much when you guys watch my videos. If you want to, you can subscribe or give a thumbs up. I'm not going to pressure you guys into doing so because it's your decision, not mine. I make these videos for fun and hopefully to entertain you guys. One last thing before I do my sign off is tomorrow I'm planning on doing the Sims book tag that I saw Jessie the Reader doing. I have not been officially tagged for it, but I'm going to do it anyway because I like to do tags and it's really different and seems really fun. Also, I'm hoping to get in a series discussion for Maggie Stiefvater's The Raven Cycle series because I just finished Raven King and that finishes the series, so I should be able to do a discussion. Now, word of warning, I have skipped, I have not reread Dream Thieves or Blue Lily Blue because I really wanted to read Raven King, and I was worried that if I started Dream Thieves that it would kind of push me into a book slump because I really wanted to read Raven King, but I felt like I would have to reread those, which is what I usually do with a series. So I have not read those, so my series discussion may just be on the Raven Boys and the Raven King, but hopefully I can talk about all of them. Anyway, thanks again so much for watching my video. I love you guys, and it means so much when you watch my videos. Happy reading!